morning, Azeroth. Broadcasting live from the trade district of Stormwind.
Hey, who re-rolled an arcane relay through the coffee pot again?
Coffee's done.
Hang on. I think we got it.
This is Azeroth Morning Radio. Warcraft for the rest of us.
Good Tuesday morning and happy Winter Veil, everybody.
Greetings.
It's episode 13 here at AMR, and this is our special first ever annual Winter Veil edition of Azeroth Morning Radio. We are your hosts. My name is Jibs, and I'm joined by 2018's world's ugliest helper during the Winter Veil season. His name is Cash.
Listen to you. I might have bit off more than I could chew by telling you those insults need to come back. That was a bald joke, and I know it.
Yeah, my eyes are still hurting from the shine on that dome. Merry Wintervale, boys.
Well, it's funny because if I throw any ball joke out, I mean, it's like I'm talking to a mirror, right? Because we're both incredibly aerodynamic in that regard. You still more than me. I've got way more real estate than you. I feel like I've got two of your heads. But it's all right.
No, you have a great dome.
Oh, thank you.
I have had more time with my dome in the sunlight. So
it's true.
Yeah, I'm like just a bucket of cancerous lesions. I lie. I actually have a very nice dome. So, dude, when we play that music, right? And I gotta hand it to you. We talked about doing a Winter Veil themed intro. Like, just make this episode so festive and merry and fun. And when I heard that again, because I've heard it like 10 times now, but it makes me feel like I'm 5. It's like, it's Christmas, like just freaking out.
Yeah.
And I want Santa's coming. I don't want to go to bed early, but I do want to go to bed early because he's going to come a little bit quicker if I go to bed early. And it gives you all the feels, man. So well done on the intro.
Oh,
Sounds fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Yeah, it's exciting. First ever Winter Veil edition of AMR. And this will be recurring. That's better. That feels right. It's gonna be recurring. Well, that would. Yeah.
That's the joy of being a content creator, is that it could be whatever we want. So it's going to be next year. It's going to be recurring again.
Oh yeah, folks, we wanted to do something special for you, and this is definitely a special episode. Fun things and all that and more. But what'd you do in game this week? What's new?
I did a lot of things in game this week.
Did you?
Lots and lots. So yeah, Winter Veil is upon us, and it's funny because we put a bit out last week about how to prepare for Winter Veil, and I did none of that. Not a single damn thing. The only thing I did was I cleared out my inventory. I did do that. I was ready for it, but my daughter wanted to jump in there and do it because this is her first Winter Veil event. Yeah. And she was super pumped to do that. And so we ended up jumping into that. And I looked at my achievement list, and I got some work to do. So I was a little bummed. I was like, man, I thought I had way more achievements done. And I didn't. So I started looking at that list. We did the initial stuff, and, we went and killed the Grinch, and she got those initial achievements. And then I got locked in because I found a piece of housing. I found a table that I wanted really bad. So I'm in the middle of Winter Veil. I'm like showing my daughter around, and I was like, I gotta go. I gotta go. So it turns out that there is an alchemy table that you can get from Classic. And I didn't even know it was there. You can get it from Classic Alchemy. Mm-hmm. And it was awesome. And I was like, okay, well, I 100% have to have this in my life. So I started working on it, and it turns out I had almost everything I needed, and the other stuff that I needed the other ingredients that I needed to be able to make this alchemy table were easy to get. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to buy this, buy this, buy this. I can farm that. But the one thing that blew my mind was Black Lotus.
Oh, yeah.
You have to have 8 Black Lotus. So I went to the auction house and I was like, well, I can probably farm it, but I'm going to look on the auction house. It was like 4,500 gold for one.
How much you want the alchemy table?
Right? Because I was thinking like more from an entrepreneurial standpoint. I was going to make these and sell them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to be a thing.
That's not happening.
So first of all, they were selling for like 40 grand. I think they were 41,000 on our server for the table.
Wow.
And the Black Lotus, in order to make the table, they were like 4.5 a pop. So I was like, screw this. I know me. I love a good grind. I've talked about it before. So I go out and I go to Wowhead and find where you get Black Lotus. So it's like up in Eastern Plaguelands and it's a rare drop from like high level classic herbing nodes. So I start to do that thing. Start to herb all the highest level stuff that I can find. I think I herbed about 200 items, 200 nodes, not a single Black Lotus, nothing. There was nothing out there. I scoured the lands and could not get a drop. And I was like, well, no wonder this thing is 40,000 for this stupid table because, well, you quickly realize that it's not going to be a thing, right? Like you're not going to be able to do it. And I'm not going to spend the exact same amount of money that I would to buy the table just to get the Black Lotus. So anyway, it was a wash.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, home decor, it's a fun thing. And it's an interesting thing. It's like you're ever learning and the markets are ever changing, and that's definitely part of my week. It was a mixture of I finished up Remix and transferred my character over, which, oh my gosh, the send off at Remix is so sad. I was so sad and teary eyed at one point. I'm like, why am I teary eyed during this whole thing?
Yikes.
And I bought everything I needed to buy, and I look around, and you're interacting with these NPCs, and you're telling them goodbye. Like you can tell them goodbye, and they're like, and one said something about, oh sweetheart, it was so good to see you. I'm like, okay, all right, I'm fine, it's fine, everything's fine. So I just left and blah blah blah, and they're like, it's never goodbye. It's and by the end of it, I'm just like, I had a day anyway, and I'm just like, okay, I'm a ball of emotion. So anyway, I transfer everything over, everything's fine. Started working on getting some of the class hall upgrades going, so I can get the some of the decor. But outside of that, my week has been working on roleplay stuff and doing dungeons here and there, the time walking, taking advantage of that. And working the markets, baby. Markets have been fruitful. And old Jibs has got a system down, and it's working just fine. Just fine.
So what are you up to? Well, first of all,
sure.
If you didn't tune into last week's show, Jibs is going to recap where he was at last week, and then what's in your wallet?
What's in your wallet? Azeroth in my wallet. Last week, I had spent well over 100K on decor, and I was down to my last 1,000 gold on this character. And, I didn't want to buy a WoW token. I really didn't want to do that at all, mainly just because I'm stubborn and I want to earn it in game. Like, that's just, in my head, that's what I wanted to do, right? So anyway, I'm like, okay, well, here we go. So I started tiptoeing into the Khazalgar decor items for my profession, and did that for a little bit till the market kind of went out, and I did about a $30,000 investment that brought me down to 79,000 gold at that point, because I got up to 100, which was awesome doing that. And that's what I told on the show. Well, the following day of that show, I'm like, I can see this market is drying out, so what I'm going to do is switch to a different expansion. So I went through and figured out what was selling the most of, picked an item I wanted to make, and I am now at 417,000 gold as of today.
Damn, you're doing good. Oh, you picked an item with that Black Lotus, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. See, the best part is finding it when you find something you want to make, number one. First off, find a profession you want to do. Like, I chose my profession because it resonates with me personally, so do that thing for you. and then find an item that, is selling well. And even better, if you can buy said mats from the auction house that may dip into your profit just a little bit on like your first sell, but then everything else is pure profit. So then you're just selling and selling and selling. And people are, we're going to talk about pricing and stuff here soon, I'm sure. But I guess we'll talk about it here, but yeah, undercutting, that's a thing in the decor markets. Sometimes there's probably 3 and 4 times a day where I'm reposting those things. I'm totally fine with it because with Trade Skill Master, that add-on, it makes it super easy to cancel all your auctions. With the Bruto, you get your mail, you get all your items, you put them right back up, right? Well, sometimes I am reposting them even the price is the same, so that way I'm the first person on the docket. That's how it, the auction house works. So it's like whoever posts most recently gets to get it first, right? So sometimes I'm doing that strategy as well, just to make sure I'm tippity top, and it's been working really well. Just taking advantage. Doesn't matter what the sale price is, except for today. Like somebody gouged it by like 2,000. I'm like, I know this is worth way more than that. People will buy this stuff out and they'll just reset the price. So I'm just waiting. But it's fun. It's been a lot of fun. This is the most gold I've ever made in this game, and I'm really trying for 1 million. But if by the time midnight comes out, I've never had that, and I got to provide for the incoming transmog slots that are stupid expensive, or at least that we think they're going to be. We don't know yet. We don't have confirmation on stuff, but got to get ready for that.
Yeah, and we haven't really dived into what we talked about last week about how we saw Farts Gaming was buying a new slot for transmog and it was 25,000 gold.
Yeah.
We haven't really dived into doing that yet to find out exactly what those tiers are.
Yeah, we definitely should.
So yeah, it's something that we should do for sure. We do have, should we talk about the correction real quick and then get into the show?
Well, hang on. Let me tell them. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of not researching things for our show real well, we from time to time we will provide corrections if we are way off base on something. We weren't really that off base on this one, but we did completely miss a feature of the game. Of this game that we've been playing for 20 years and had no idea that this thing was a thing.
It's during this part of the broadcast that I pop in and usually say something insulting. But being that it's Winter Veil, do better? You do good. You're great. You do great. Freaking amateurs.
Seriously, nowhere in the UI is this anywhere that I have seen. Is there something we've seriously missed? I didn't know this was a thing.
Oh, we seriously missed it.
Well, that's true. We did.
Last week, we were talking about Guild Wars 2 and how they have a mentor system for new players, right? And we thought we were so smart talking about this would be a really cool feature for Warcraft because we play Warcraft and new players need some help. And we had some very astute listeners.
Yeah, we did.
Send us some very nice emails about it. Very nice messages.
They were kind, yeah.
They were very kind when they didn't have to be. They could have said something like, hey, morons, maybe it's the bald hair, but you completely pooped the bed on this one because World of Warcraft does indeed have a new player mentor system and we never knew it. It's probably because we haven't been new players in a long time and we don't seek things like that out. But lo and behold, friends, there is a system that is called the Guide Mentor System. The system came out around Shadowlands. We actually did our research this week. This arrived, I think it was 2020, right around Shadowlands. And it basically what it is veteran players can very easily help new players via a newcomer chat. But you first have to become a mentor. And it's built into the game to where Alliance players, if you want to be a mentor, you visit an NPC. She is in the Stormwind Embassy. Her name is Celeste Periwinkle. And if you have certain things that you've done in the game, there's like certain achievements, like they're pretty basic achievements that you would have had to have gotten in order to become a mentor. If you have those, you can become a mentor. For the Horde, you're going to visit Ayla Pathleader. She's in the Orgrimmar Embassy, and she'll offer you the same thing. So if you get to be a mentor, you're considered a guide and you're going to be given like a green flag over your head. when you're in that mode. Newcomers are offered whether, like when they first start, they're offered whether or not they want to become part of the system. And then you will get as a newcomer, you'll get a little Murloc icon over your head. And so it's not intrusive to others. Only newcomers can see the green flag and only guides can see the Murloc icon. So it's actually kind of neat the way they did it. It's not intrusive to anybody. You're not like running around Stormwind or Dornogal with a flag or a Murloc over your head that everybody can see. But it's a system to where both parties will have access to the newcomer chat, and you can help other players like do their things. They have questions. We have answers. Which it's cool. So I think I'm going to do this. I honestly do. I think I'm going to go down there and do it and make part of my game time just available for people.
Yeah.
If they have questions.
Awesome. I don't know how we did not know like this was. That was the part that shocked me the most. Like, how on Azeroth's green earth have we not noticed that this was a thing ever?
Well, like again, it's because we're not new players. We know the game pretty well. I think pretty well. I don't think we know the game in and out. Obviously not. But I mean, if you're not seeking something like this out, but I am now because I would like to do it. I think it'd be really neat to be a mentor to new players. Yeah,
definitely.
So
definitely.
Anyway, we just wanted to provide that correction and say that we're sorry.
And thank you to our listeners for letting us know about it. That was awesome. We appreciate the feedback. Immediate feedback, too. They were pretty quick about it. But anyway, this week on the show, folks, we chat about a WoW player making a difference down under. Ian gets candid with USA Today. Land surveyors have been spotted in your neighborhood. And we reveal something big, a.k.a. our very first live show and how you can be a part of it.
Well, you just revealed it.
Well, you wrote it in there.
Well, that was so you knew what it was, not the people.
Oh. Hey, we're doing our first live show. Details coming soon.
Yeah. Womp, womp, womp.
Well, folks, this show is for the casual player. So those of us who grew up playing Warcraft, we got older, working 9 to 5, have a family, kids, all of that, but you love World of Warcraft. Folks, this show's for you. Welcome home. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Every Wintervale, Great Father Winter checks his list twice. But this year, the naughty list is being reviewed by a very special consultant.
All right, Great Father. I've completed the audit. Good news. We can reduce gift distribution by 40% if we redefine naughty.
Redefine naughty.
Absolutely. For example, anyone who stood in fire during a raid, naughty.
That's most raiders.
Exactly. Huge savings. Hunters, especially Beastmaster, who misdirected the tank as a joke, naughty.
That was one time.
It was logged. Here's another one. Players who didn't move when the boss yelled run, naughty.
Some people panic when they encounter mechanics.
Cole builds character. Murlocs, preemptively naughty.
Absolutely not.
Provisionally naughty?
Is there anybody still on the nice list?
Let's see here. There's one healer who never lets anyone die, and there's a person who brings feasts and flasks to raids.
A true hero.
Yeah, we're monitoring them.
And you? Where do you fall on the list?
Oh, me? I'm relatively naughty, but my lawyer believes it's hearsay, so I filed an appeal. Approved.
You just stamped yourself nice.
Consulting fee perk.
But alas, my little green friend, that's fine. The internal naughty list doesn't require your signature.
This Wintervale, remember, the naughty list is eternal and audits are dangerous.
Wait, we haven't even discussed monetizing goodwill.
Happy Wintervale from Azeroth Morning Radio.
Hey man, this be Iacona. And when I not be explaining that Iacona is spelled with an uppercase I and that's not a lowercase l, then I be listening to Azeroth Morning Radio.
keeping up with the Christmas trend here, or Winter Veil trend here, in this wonderful episode of AMR. Folks, it's time for the Hero's Call.
Hero's Call.
Adventurers, we got a very cool submission this week. And want to give a lot of love to Plague, who submitted the following message. I was listening to the weekly No Lever podcast and found something that might be good for the Heroes Call board. It's called Project Panda. And that came along with a link. So Jibs sent that over to me. I said, hey, we got a submission. Take a look at this. So I was getting ready to head out on a death march of an early morning run. And I figured there is no better time to get locked into a podcast to find out what this is all about than to throw it in my ear holes and go for the run. So I did that. And I listened to the entirety of this podcast, which is actually really cool. Higher level players, and the host does an interview. Like these are the folks from Raider.io. So it's an understatement when I say that these are podcasters that basically do and support Raider.io, which, if you didn't know, is an add-on specifically for raiding and Mythic Plus. So yes, again, pretty obvious these are veteran players. Well, the hosts will interview somebody as they run a key, a Mythic Plus key. And they were running a plus 12 while they were having this interview. And you would have never known it. Like, it was fantastic, the conversation that these gentlemen had while they were running a plus 12. Zero chance in hell that I am going to have that kind of concentration, because when we end up running mythics, even lower mythics, Jibs, what do I do as a healer?
Stress out and get angry when I put Levitate on you?
Not the response I was looking for, but
okay.
Pretty accurate. Yeah, he loves to put Levitate on me when I'm in the middle of my healing. And anyway, we're okay now. We're better now. No, I get stressed out and I white knuckle the F out of my Naga, dude. I'm just like, oh my God. So anyway, let me get to the point of this. Point of this is I listened to this. It was a great podcast about Project Panda, and Panda is Panda is now called Panda TV, but formerly Panda was called Chinglish TV. He's an Australian World of Warcraft player and streamer for the last 13 years. So definitely a veteran of both World of Warcraft and content creation. Well, Panda is doing an initiative down in Australia where he lives, where he's aiming to break the cycle of poverty and homelessness through targeted support and life-changing opportunities. And that comes right from their website, which I will definitely give you guys. So a few facts here. There's over 122,000 homeless in Australia. So what Panda has started doing, he is buying supplies and making backpacks with basic supplies and hand delivering them to the unhoused in Australia. He doesn't show the videos, to keep anonymity for people. He does not monetize this. 100% of the donations that he gets goes to building backpacks. This is not a monetization thing for him. And he made a lot of pretty funny jokes about it in the podcast, where he was talking about how, if he was doing this from a business perspective, it's a terrible design because he's not making a thing off of it. This is just 100% goodness and being a human being in what he's trying to do. So again, it's 100% nonprofit. All donations go into making more backpacks. But he goes into a remarkable story of himself and his upbringing and the trials that he has withstood through his own life, including a time where even he was homeless and struggling on the streets. So this was perfect for the Heroes Call board, because this kind of thing is exactly what we're talking about, where you have one person making a huge difference. And I don't think you can deny that the world needs more of this, but it's a really neat story. I went to his website, looked at the stuff. It's very impressive. I watched a few of his videos. He's on TikTok. Just some really cool stuff that he is doing here.
That's awesome. Yeah, I do remember him being Chinglish. And in fact, I remember when he switched over to Panda. So like that was several years ago now at this point. I used to watch him pretty religiously there for a while when he would stream and fast forward to where we're at now. And, that's awesome. We talk oftentimes here on AMR about leading with kindness and selflessness and just being kind, and taking care of your fellow gamer. And I love seeing stuff like this. Absolutely. How can they get involved?
So in order to support the project, or if you're just interested in seeing what the project is about, you can go to his website, pandatv.au. That's the website. All the information is on there, including how to donate. I think there's 3 different levels of backpacks that you can buy. And you basically, send a donation, and then he directly takes a donation, goes out, buys the stuff, puts them together right in his own house. And then he gets on the road. It sounded like once a week he goes out and he just looks for people that he thinks, would need the backpack, offers it up to him. He's got like a van with all of his, logos and stuff on it, and talks about the outreach and stuff like that. You can also find Panda on TikTok. It's Panda TV OCE on TikTok. And then, of course, if you're interested in his streaming, he's still streaming. It's twitch.tv/Panda TV. And I think it's important to also highlight Plague for bringing this to our attention. This is the kind of stuff that we really, really appreciate. And it was the perfect message for the Heroes Call.
Yeah.
So thank you very, very much. And thank you to Panda for doing this. And just, a heartfelt, very warm, hearty thank you for doing stuff like this and just being a good guy. You should listen to this podcast. It actually is very, very good. The weekly No Leaver podcast. He talks about a lot of the stories that he went through himself and like the things that he goes through in dealing with folks who are unhoused. And there's a lot of mental illness that he has to deal with. And he's got some pretty interesting stories about how he's trying to be kind and benevolent, and the tables get turned on him. And he's just so kind about the way that he deals with it. The episode of Raider.io's weekly No Leaver podcast is the one from October 3rd. That's the one you want. It's an excellent episode, and please do yourself a favor. If you're interested in learning more about Panda TV, go listen to it. It's really cool.
Absolutely. Well, and we'll have all this linked at the show notes as well. So you guys can just go to the AzerothMorningRadio.com on this episode page, and everything will be there. So it'll be maybe easier for you to find it all. We'll have it all there listed for you. And yes, thank you, Panda, for this. And also Plague. Agreed. This is the stuff we want to see. And it's really exciting to see. So anyway, I love it.
Breaking news. Brought to all of yous by the Goblin News Network.
Well, before we get into the news, I actually have breaking news at the time of this recording. Night Elf and Blood Elf themed player houses are now available on the Midnight Beta. This coming to us from wowhead.com. Pasting links as I talk. With the latest build of the Midnight Beta, Blizzard has enabled the option to create Blood Elf and Night Elf themed houses. You ready for this?
I realize that the last thing you said there saved me from stopping this recording and logging into the game too. I was like, what? And he's like, in the Midnight Beta.
Oh, let me tell you, this is stunning. I'm not a Night Elf person. This is stunning. This is, oh man. And the Blood Elf. The Blood Elf looks cool too. But, woo! Yeah. So.
Yeah. Excited.
So, Night Elf houses come with options such as stone embellished or wood styling. And Blood Elf houses come with a variety of options, including rustic, woodland, that sounds awesome, or embellished roofing. So, yeah.
Ooh, the woodland sounds very interesting for Blood Elves. Oh, man, if you had a Blood Elf hunter. Oh, boy, Jibs.
Oh, boy. Anyway, so you can look forward to that on the Midnight Beta. Midnight beta.
Freaking podcasting with Steamboat Willie here. I had no idea.
Yeah, I got a pretty mean impersonation of that one. But anyway, World of Warcraft is changing. I'm nervous about what that means. This is coming to us from USA Today. So let's give you the gist of what this is. So World of Warcraft is preparing for one of the most ambitious overhauls in its 21-year history with the upcoming expansion Midnight. This isn't just new content. Midnight introduces player housing for the first time, which we've already kind of got our taste of, reworks combat systems and the user interface, and deliberately reduces reliance on community-made combat add-ons, changes that will affect nearly every player.
Let's rewind just one quick second. World of Warcraft is changing. I'm nervous about what that means, which is the title of the article. And Jib says, this coming to us from USA Today.
I know. Isn't this crazy?
That's not something that you hear every day. And I think it's a pretty good indicator that you've made it. When USA Today is doing an article about your game with one of your high-level producers.
Yeah, agreed. And speaking of USA Today, something else that's kind of come back to gamers, and it's been around for a little bit now, but it's come back into the fray, is Game Informer. And folks, just a heads up, I don't mean to deter us, but real quick, Game Informer is coming out with a housing or midnight edition of Game Informer in January, and the cover art is beautiful. This is one of those things that you want to buy and keep. One to read and one to put as a collectible somewhere and keep it safe because it looks stunning. It's a bigger magazine than usual. And if you're a nerd like us, which I believe you are, you're going to definitely want to pick it up.
You know what I still have to this day?
What's up?
The PC Gamer article on the development of Star Wars Galaxies way back in like 2000. Yeah, 2000.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That's
I'll
awesome.
never forget. And I was like, this is going to be one to keep. So I kept it.
Good for you. So good on you. That's awesome. Man, that's awesome. All right. So anyway, USA Today articles. So they go on to say that the opinion director, Louis Villalobos, a longtime WoW player. Hey, I did pretty good. Pretty well.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I nailed it. Villalobos.
Oh.
Samsonite, way off.
Villalobos.
No, it's not. This is...
Yes, it is.
Maybe in Paris. I'm in Indiana.
But you're going to make yourself a damn quesadilla. Damn it, Napoleon. The people have to listen to you and I be absolutely 5 years old for like an hour and 15 minutes every week.
You know, we had a request the other day. Someone wants us to do an 8-hour episode. They said, do you think you guys will ever get to a point where you can just do 8-hour episodes? I'm like, hey, never say never, man. You never know. Maybe we eventually are live for that long.
Dude, I'd be sending you like dead flowers and flipping you off at like the 3-hour mark.
Maybe we do that for Extra Life one year. Anyway, Louis Villalobos, a longtime WoW player, recently spoke with game director Ian Hazzikostas and was candid about the risk involved. Ian said, quote, I owe the game a great debt, and yet I also don't want to be the guy who ruins WoW, end quote.
We don't want you to be either, Ian.
We don't want that either.
Don't do that.
We believe in you. You can do it. Housing arrives first with early access beginning December 2nd, which we've already enjoyed. And the writer also says early beta testing shows it's more than decorative. It reflects player achievements and encourages long-term progression. Would you agree on that last part? Long-term progression? I feel like so. Yeah.
I would. You know what? It feels like they touted what the housing system was going to be, and they delivered on everything they said it was going to be.
100%. 100%. Knocked it out of the park. But the biggest shakeup may be combat. So Blizzard is streamlining abilities and reclaiming control from add-ons that have shaped encounter design for years. Now, I say this with a caveat because we just also found out through Wowhead that they are kind of releasing the reins a little bit. They are going to allow for some spells to be tracked. So we don't know what that means, but some of that's coming back. So we'll see. But the biggest, they say, quote, there's absolutely a risk, Ian said. The safe play would be to keep doing it like we've always done it, end quote. The design goal, he says, it's clarity without sacrificing mastery. Quote, easy to learn, very hard to master, end quote. With Midnight.
What? Now I have to sacrifice my clarity and my mastery?
Oh,
I'm not going to be able to heal crap.
I see what you're doing.
Oh, I read that wrong. My bad.
With Midnight, Blizzard is betting that... With Midnight, Blizzard is betting that change, not comfort, is what keeps Azeroth alive. And players will soon find out if that gamble pays off. So, what do you think, man? I hadn't really thought about this in this way. And first off, I was shocked, like you said earlier, that USA Today is covering World of Warcraft. Granted, this was an opinion piece, but the fact it's in USA Today, like if you actually go and read the article, he talks about how oftentimes the people he works with, they're trying to get him to go out and about. He's like, no, I'm a gamer. And so like that's how he decompresses. And he's been playing WoW for, I think it was a better part of 13 years. So like this is, you know, like is just like you and I, you know, it's the warm blanket, right? You come home to. And I hadn't really thought about it, but you know what? Like they really are putting a lot into one expansion. A lot of changes, a lot of updates, all in one. It's not happening over the course of patches here, patches there, maybe the last Titan. No, it's happening here at Midnight.
There's a lot of planning for the future. That's what I see. And I see that there's always been a buzz out there about like World of Warcraft 2. And I think that what we're seeing right now is World of Warcraft 2. There's updates happening to the old parts of the world. They're bringing things around with housing. So we're going to see the successor to World of Warcraft within World of Warcraft as the game stands now. And I'm completely fine with that. I love the direction that they're taking it. And yeah, there's going to be some missteps here and there. We've listened in our own community with our own friends for the last several weeks, as many of them have taken a dive into the beta, and there's goods and there's bads. And we've watched, a lot of our friends like be very indecisive about what they're going to play because of the changes that are being made. And I understand what they are trying to do. And I think if they stick to what Ian just said here, easy to learn, very hard to master, that harkens back to something that we've said several times about our own experiences with World of Warcraft, that the game can be as easy or as complicated as you want it to be. The beauty is that there is options for you to play the game that you want to play. Mm-hmm. So when you talk about the World of Warcraft 2 thing, you have to go back and look at all of these changes that are being made. And you're absolutely right. There is a boatload of things coming in Midnight, but all of them are moving the chains forward for World of Warcraft as a game, as a franchise, and for the future of what we're going to see. I really think the chains are being moved forward. And that is not to undermine, pun intended, it is not to undermine the fact that, again, mistakes will be made. There will be things that will need to be fixed. There will be problems when it launches right off the bat, because there is a history there of there being bugs at the start of anything that they do. But those things eventually, for the most part, get hammered out and get addressed. But I love the direction. I love where it's headed. There's a lot of future proofing happening, and there's a lot of directional changes that are being made in order to make the future of World of Warcraft better.
I agree. Now, granted, like you said, like a lot of the updates and things happening at once, they are taking risk. Like, make no mistake, this is a lot to do at once. I also applaud them for the fact that they didn't shy away from that thing, that they just went for it, because this is, in Star Wars, they always say that Sith deals in absolutes. It's like, it's either this or this, So I kind of don't like to apply that to gaming, but it's kind of like one of those things like, this has to be a win, or what's that going to look like? You know what I mean? And I don't like drawing that hard line here for this, but it's just, I guess, devil's advocate in a way, like you really are pushing the envelope. You really are, kind of like you said, taking Warcraft to that next step, that next level that honestly, I think they want, the players want, all of us want. You know, we really want to see that next step within World of Warcraft. And I'm really glad that they didn't shy away from taking that challenge, because this is a huge, huge challenge. All 42, what was it, 42 specs? 40 or 42 specs, all being streamlined. On top of that, you add housing. and you had to basically finish off the first portion of War Within, which changed during the expansion. You know, you even see it in the narrative. The narrative changed, and all to set up this entire saga. There's so much that's happening, and not to mention add-ons, right? Like, I mean, it's honestly, it's kind of surreal. It's kind of crazy when you think about just how much is going into one expansion. It's a lot.
Yeah, and the add-on thing is still a very hot button topic. Don't think that we're just, because we're supportive of the changes that we're making, that we're not blind to what the add-on thing, the changes to add-ons, how that is affecting people, because we're completely sensitive to that. Everybody's having to make changes. People are having to change something that they have, a way that they've been playing the game for years and years and years. And the replacement for those items, and I'm talking specifically add-ons, the replacement for those tools is not quite feature rich yet. So there's going to be this muddy period. And I'm specifically talking about things like weak auras and details and anything that basically gathers information from the backside of your game and turns it into statics and tools for raiders and different ways to look at top end damage, top end healing. The breakdowns that the add-ons provide for those things that really help some of these top level players make decisions, they're not going to be there with the base UI that Blizzard is adding into it right now.
Right.
They're just not there. So this is that muddy period where until those things are a little bit more feature rich and native to the game, there's going to be a lot of people that are still upset about that. And gamers are much like stubborn old people. They don't like change. And that is exactly what's happening in a big way. So, and that's not a knock on gamers. I are one. So,
right.
So I'm fine with it. I feel the same way. They're taking basic things that people have been used to and reliant upon for so long to play their game to the level that they do, and they're changing those. They're taking those things away. So again, just to wrap this one up, we are definitely sensitive to the way people feel about their add-ons.
Yeah, I totally get it. I mean, and honestly though, I'll just make this point, this was our foray into Warcraft was AMR. We have spent the last decade and other IPs kind of building our craft, our personal craft of podcasting, but also, just kind of making our way through the MMO world. Meanwhile, almost always playing Warcraft along the way. So I say that to say, we've played so many different IPs that have restrictions on add-ons, like SWTOR doesn't allow any. New World doesn't really allow any. ESO allows some, but even then it was you and I used them kind of sparingly. We have played so many different MMOs that have varying degrees of either limits or for all intents and purposes, gloves off kind of mentality, do what you want. That from my standpoint, when it comes to add-ons, I understand why people are upset. I get it wholeheartedly, especially when, like you said, when you've come to depend on that thing, right? As an integral part of your gameplay. I do not want to shy away from that. I do not want to minimize that because I totally get it and understand. Speaking for myself personally, though, just because of where we've come from, solely because of where you and I have come from, it doesn't bother me as much. I will say, if they were to like take demodal from me, where I couldn't have multiple, UI windows up within the game and moving them around, I couldn't do that. That would definitely bum me out. Same thing with transmog stuff. So like I get it. But at the same token, like I also like, and WildStar you couldn't have add-ons in WildStar, I don't think either. But like I like when a game can be made so well that it doesn't necessarily require those things to get a good experience.
Right, and that's the direction that they're headed.
Right.
To make World of Warcraft as standalone as possible. And if there's some, additional fun features that you would like to have, things like that don't tap into the actual numbers, the things that are on the back end in reference to combat. If they can make the game as standalone as possible and just make those other add-ons that are out there that are still available to you quality of life things, and they'll probably still be looking at a lot of those other quality of life add-ons that are out there and slowly start implementing some of that stuff. So there is an all-encompassing UI for World of Warcraft that allows it to stand on its own 2 feet. It's a big enough game with big enough resources from a development standpoint and from a support standpoint that they can 100% do that. Pick and choose the things that they like, still give the add-on community the ability to be creative with the things that they're doing. But man, I like the direction. I'm 100% in support of the direction that they're taking it to make World of Warcraft as standalone as possible.
Let me ask you this before we move on to the next segment. How do you see this change affecting casual players?
Less so than it is affecting top level players.
I could see that.
And here's the reason. Casual players are much less apt to be going into the back end of details, and which is for all intents and purposes a DPS meter. Yeah, but it also tells you healing statics and stuff like that from your gameplay. Casual players are much less likely to go into details and look at the stats of how much one particular ability is healing. Whereas top level players, when they're looking at new specs or changes to their specs, say as a healer, will go into that system and look at what items are healing the most so that they can optimize their gameplay, optimize their rotation, optimize what they're using. And that is definitely taking place right now in the beta for Midnight. There's, healers, DPS, people who are experts in their particular class and spec, and they're looking at all of those numbers. So this kind of stuff, when details goes away, they're not going to be able to do that anymore. So, I mean, that's just one example of how this is affecting when these add-ons go away, it is 100% going to affect the higher tier players than it will the casual.
Yeah, I agree. And, every casual player is different, like for me personally, and also I would say for you as well, because you've made the comment too, we're both very much take in the experience people, we take in for whatever it is. And obviously lore and story are huge components to us as well. But, so on that note, I'm sure there's other casuals out there that are like that, and they can kind of take this in experiences, take the experience in whatever it is, which is about to be a lot of updates and a lot of other things. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this develops. Again, I thought it was cool that USA Today covered this, regardless, opinion piece or not. It's awesome. So player houses will have visible exterior borders in Midnight. This coming to us from wowhead.com. So, folks, Blizzard has made another quality of life improvement to player housing in Midnight, responding directly to player feedback from the beta, which, yeah, I would also call responding from early access as well. Maybe that's what they meant too. But because I know the community, I know we talked about it. I know other community people have spoken about it. The team definitely heard it loud and clear. We really wanted, these boundaries. So anyway, in the latest update for the beta, there's visible exterior borders now that are added in the edit mode. So it's going to clearly show you where your property begins and ends, which is great because for a while I was using fencing to tell me that thing. So this is awesome. It's going to help us eliminate the I don't know just 100%. So
yeah, the trial and error. You're not going to have to, set your fence up where you think your property line is and then have it jam right back into your bag.
Yeah.
Which it 100% does at this point. But this to me was a no-brainer. I don't know how hard it is on the back end to do something like this, but this is kind of a no-brainer for folks. And I'm just happy to see that they're supporting it and running with making that QOL improvement. I think it's another indication that they do read the forums. They do pay attention to your feedback, and they will make changes if things seem like, okay, like we can easily do this. Why wouldn't we do this? It'll help players out. Another example is something we talked about last week, which is the houses. I kind of really read that article this week where they're talking about the houses being in the air.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's obvious that the team has put in so much time and effort to this that they saw people, putting their houses up in the air and looking for tools and stuff to be able to do that so they can build better creations with their housing plots. And they just 100% said, yeah, we can support this. Why wouldn't we? Mm-hmm. So, they're adding tools so that you can elevate your house, levitate your house, basically, and do some of those cool things that you want to do with it. And they also said that, oh, well, by the way, there's no bottom to your house right now. So you're going to need to cover it up until we figure out how to fix that, or until we come up with a fix for it, basically. Not necessarily figure it out, because I'm sure it won't be too hard for them to put a floor in for you. But it's just another example. They're listening to the things that people want. They're witnessing the things that people want. And they're just like, yeah, we can make that happen. Let's do it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It is.
I mean, it's probably not to the extent that old school RuneScape is. If you don't know anything about old school RuneScape, they literally have a voting system where the players vote for what they want and what they don't want. And if the vote passes, it goes in, which is kind of cool. So not quite to that level yet. I mean, they're still developers. They got to figure out and know what they can and cannot implement. You have to draw the line somewhere, but it's still cool.
Yeah,
they're doing it.
Yeah, it's cool. They not only did they come out with a excellent housing system, bar none the best housing system of any MMO. I'll say that with a caveat. I never played Final Fantasy. I never had a desire to play Final Fantasy. Admittedly, it's just not for me from an IP standpoint. But I believe this to be the best housing system that I've ever played. If not,
that was a very honest assessment. It was, and you're very kind in what you say. I'm just going to throw it out there and say, I haven't even played Final Fantasy XIV's housing, and I guarantee this crushes it. Guarantee.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I wanted to say.
I'll say it for you.
And you know what? My point was, not only did they come out with an amazing housing system, but they continue to make the effort to pay attention to feedback, crucial feedback. They didn't have to do that thing because not every developer team does. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes it felt as though from when we were in other IPs that you were kind of, like tossing your feedback out into the wind. But this is something that clearly is incredibly important to Blizzard. Clearly that they want to make the best possible feature for you, and they are taking that feedback in. And look, that's a good feeling as a player. Like, it just is.
And they're turning around what Blizzard used to be known as, because this used to be an issue. Being a good listener and less talking is something that Blizzard has in the past not been known to do very well.
I had kind of forgotten that, to be honest with you.
They would draw a hard line. And this is some very refreshing latest developments on this. We're seeing that Blizzard is really listening and implementing things that the players want and implementing changes to those things that the players are requesting. So it's a good, I don't want to say new look, because it make Blizzard seem like they were terrible before, but that's what was out there, is that, yeah, good luck. Like, they're not listening. Well, they're clearly listening.
Absolutely they are.
So it's a good change.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, it's a good time to be a WoW fan. Folks, we're bringing Tool Time Azeroth Edition back. Let's jump right in.
Work.
All right, so last episode, we told you that we were going to be doing a housing segment this episode, and we absolutely are. Top housing add-ons that we are using right meow.
Did you throw a meow in there?
Yeah, what movie is that? Name that movie.
That is Super Troopers.
That's right, it is. Step out of the car. Right meow, please. Oh, folks, so there's a great look. There's a laundry list of add-ons, and I'll be honest, if you go to CurseForge and you just type decor, holy cow, I couldn't even get through them all. In fact, I couldn't even install them to test them. So
doing it right now.
All right, so yeah, you do that thing. Just type decor.
You know what that reminded me of?
What?
Twice last year. You know, folks.
Well, I'm going to talk about the first one, and that is Plumber. Now, this add-on came into play during Dragonflight. I'll never forget when it came out because Cash and I were super stoked. We were doing the seeds in the Emerald Dream, and it is phenomenal. All the things they've added since then, coming back to it. This was the first time I've installed it since that time. And holy cow, there's a couple things that particularly, what? You look like you're a crash dummy, like your head's going all over the place. You good?
Yeah, I have 3 screens, and I'm looking at the list that you're talking about. You're not lying.
No, it just keeps going.
There's a bunch. Decor vendor, decor treasure hunt. Oh my, you guys.
You didn't know that was a thing? Yeah, that's a thing.
No, come on, man. You're taking the fun out of it.
Yeah, I don't want that. Like, I want to do the riddle, like, I don't understand why people wouldn't want to. I mean, I get it. Like, it's not for everybody, but I mean,
as I install it.
Oh my gosh.
What else here? Dump decor, decor treasure, advanced decoration, Crowley's achievement filter, better homes and decor. Great name.
Yeah.
Better Home and Gardens.
Oh yeah.
Great name.
Oh yeah.
Thendar's Decor Lumber, Riddle Compass. There's another one. You lazy. So funny, dude. Decor achievements. Yeah, we can keep going. I'm going to stop doing that.
Yeah. But it's a laundry list.
He wasn't lying.
Yeah, so confirmed. So anyway, for plumbers, a couple things that it does great for you that we highly recommend. One, they just added a die copy and paste system. So that is now literally is the most recent update. They've added dies that you could copy and paste. And also you can copy the current decor item you are using. So the other day I was setting up presents under my homemade Christmas tree setup in my house. And so all I have to do after I sit down said box that I just tap Alt and it generates if I have it in my inventory, my housing catalog, I think it's whatever it's called, it'll pop it out immediately and set it down right in front of me. And it's awesome.
Do you feel like that should be native to the UI for
And
housing?
I think it will be. Yes, yeah, I think it will be.
I agree.
Yeah,
I think it will be too.
One thing I've learned about Plumber is, and they're I forget their name on X, but they're always making tweaks and updates. They're all quality of life changes, and oftentimes, like a lot of this stuff, I feel like actually gets added to the game later. Sometimes I feel like they're just kind of ahead of the curve until it does get added. So anyway, Plumber, check that one out. Next one, Homebound. Yeah, this is probably the granddaddy of them all.
It is. We've talked about Homebound before. Actually, we talked about Homebound when Homebound wasn't Homebound. And now they are just like since it came out, like they're crushing with what they're adding to it.
Absolutely, they are. So you can track housing rewards. You have vendors now that it shows you their locations, which also can set markers on your map and tell you what they sell. And then they have drops that shows you what drops from the dungeon bosses. And also the most recent addition was professions. And I'm going to tell you that's part of the secret sauce about making money if you're wanting to craft decor items, because Homebound pairs incredibly well, seamlessly, in fact, with Trade Skill Master, which tells you what stuff is selling for in the auction house and how, like the pace that it's selling. So, when you're going through that professions tab, and it will tell you, all the professions. It has a drop down. You click it, and it starts at classic. And as you scroll down, it goes to the most recent. So in this case, War Within. And as you mouse over these items, you're seeing what this stuff is selling for. And if you're anything like me, where you're a housing junkie, you're going to go through gold quickly anyway. So you got to restock. So definitely helps to get involved.
So Trade Skill Master is a very helpful add-on itself, but it does require a separate database.
It's housing. Yeah. Okay. So why did I say housing? Trade Skill Master. I would highly encourage you, if you are interested in installing that, watch a video on it. Honestly, like, it's not super, it's not just click install and you're ready to go. You have to install it. You have to also install the app helper, and then you have to install the actual Trade Skill Master program on your computer. It's just a few extra steps that you're not typically accustomed to if you're, in the add-on game. So just watch a video on it. It's pretty self-explanatory, and you'll be able to set it up no problem. But just keep that in your mind, folks, that honestly, it's not super casual friendly. To be completely transparent, it's not. But it's definitely worth having.
Are you saying that you're not a casual?
I did not say that, because I had to watch a video to learn how to install it, sucker.
If we're going off of the amount of YouTube videos that we watch for World of Warcraft, not casual. Not casual. That might move us up one of those numbers on that video we watched a long time ago about what kind of WoW player we are.
Yeah. Well,
because we do. Well, you know what, though? I will say this. Like, we try and do our due diligence on research for you. This is probably not the episode to say that comment since we really do. Direction.
Honestly, but we really do.
Yeah.
I still had no idea it was in the game. I'm still going to die on that hill. I had no idea it was there. Anyway, and then finally, this last add-on, and honestly, it's not particularly a housing add-on, but it's one that you should definitely have in general. It's called Buy 'em All. In other words, it's a great way that you can buy decor in bulk. Are you sitting there at the vendor and you're pushing single clicks to buy this decor? You don't have to do that anymore. You just shift click and then it'll pop up and you can tell how much you want it to buy.
Are you sure this isn't just a faster way for you to buy out all of the other items for sale on the auction house so you can reset the market on that particular item?
No, but I'm kind of getting to that point where I may start setting the market.
Yeah, I considered doing that the other night. I think I was looking at Black Lotus. Like, ooh, I should just buy all the Black Lotus and reset the price on Black Lotus. But that would have wiped me out. It would have wiped everybody in our guild out when I asked them for all their gold. So anyway, yeah, maybe it's just our server that Black Lotus is so hard to come by.
No, but Moonguard is incredibly unique for a lot of reasons. It's the market, the world is alive, and it's of course a role play. But maybe that is part of it. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I will say, with that whole Black Lotus debacle where I found something that I wanted to make and try to work the market, I was actually impressed. Like, holy crap. Like this, the game is complicated enough to where you want to dive into the market in certain aspects of things. And I think it says a lot for the economy too. How I personally feel like World of Warcraft's economy is very stable. It's for how many years that the game has been out, the economy has stayed relatively stable. And it's probably because there's money sinks in the game, and there's things that are built into the game that have allowed for that to happen, right? And this is probably a super boring topic, but we have talked about on podcasts before, like games development companies that have hired full-blown economists to design their system. And I don't know how Blizzard did it. I don't know if they have an economist that does this kind of stuff, because there's a billion servers for them to have to look at. But I was actually quite impressed, where I'm like, I want to do this thing. And the economy said, nope, you're not going to. And I was like, it's basically like, pick something else.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll find something else to do. But, in some weird way, I was like pleased that, okay, I'm not going to be able to do this one. It's just neat. And all of that revolves around the rarity of the one item that I needed.
Yeah.
It's just cool. It was cool.
Yeah, folks, it feels like you're listening. You talk about economy. You want to see an economy wildly different, maybe while you're eating dinner and just want to watch a video real quick that, you can just scroll away from. Search SWTOR economy. Watch a video. Prepare yourself.
I knew you were going there.
Prepare yourself because after you watch that, you'll walk away and say, yep, Warcraft's in a good spot.
Oh, yeah. SWTOR's economy is baroque.
It's awful.
So bad.
Oh my gosh, it's awful.
You want to talk about the amount of credits that you need to buy minimal stuff. Like I would love to take Black Lotus and put it onto Star Wars: The Old Republic's economy and just see what the translation is from gold to credits.
Oh, you'd be a multimillionaire in seconds. Anyway, folks, so check out these add-ons. There's so many more, and yeah, now comes the fun part. So we teased earlier in the episode where our first live show, and you want to take it away, Junior?
Okay. Sure, Dad.
We'll go throw the ball after the episode, son.
Oh, cool. Well, I did say I was 5. So
yeah, you are 5.
Friends, we've been touting this for a while. I've been talking about it on my portion of the outro for a long time. And this just happens to be a great opportunity for us because upon our recording next week, it is the week of Christmas. And as of the release date of this episode, when this episode comes out, you'll be able to consume this episode on December 23rd. And then that evening, doesn't matter if you have family in town, doesn't matter if you have family plans, invite them all. Because our first live show is going to be December the 23rd at 7 p.m. EST, live on Twitch, twitch.tv/Azeroth Morning Radio. And I think we're very excited about this one.
We are. This is the first live show, which is always, just a special time. Did you tell them the name? The premise with the name? No. Okay.
I didn't.
You want to? Okay. AMR, the Late Watch. So in other words, it's a late night show, and kind of like what you'd see on TV. And it's going to be pretty interesting because we're going to be detailing what?
It's a late show? Does that mean I can say the F word?
Well, let the Titans lead you. But anyway.
Damn it!
Anyway, so we're going to be detailing everything that you can expect from us in 2026. At least the things we can talk about. So come be a part of it. We're going to do a massive Q&A. So if you're there, you can submit a question to us and we'll answer it live on the show. And it will be live and uncut. So what you hear, experience there, that's the episode the following week. Being that's the new year, we thought we'd do something just a little bit different, kind of give us a little bit more room to celebrate, spend time with our families, but also still provide content for you guys. And in such a way that you can get involved. So like Cash said, literally, as you're listening to this episode, tonight at 7 p.m. EST at twitch.tv/Azeroth Morning Radio.
Yeah, we thought it was definitely important to let you know that if you are there for the live show, this is a live recording for the next week's show. So just so you know, if you hear it the next Tuesday as a release, then we don't want to bum you out. But you could roll down your window when you're on your way to work and just be like, I was there. I was there for this one. And then people look at you weird and they'll use a middle finger. You give them the thumbs down and then everybody's confused.
That's right.
So
that's right.
That's how we're going to roll with that. So the show format's not going to be our regular show format. This, again, is like a live, uncut show. And the reason that we're doing this, we're going to do more of these in the future, but the reason that we're giving this a test run is because it's Christmas week. So we got a bunch of stuff going on. You're going to have a bunch of stuff going on, with family and celebrations and all that stuff. So instead of taking a week off, we're opting to dig into a live show and make it probably even more difficult on us, more stressful for us during Christmas week. But these are fun. So we're gonna have a good time as long as people show up.
Yeah,
we'll bring cookies.
We'll bring cookies, fell cookies.
Yeah, fell cookies
and mage cookies.
long before the opening of the Dark Portal, before the First War, before anyone thought putting spikes on armor was a lifestyle choice, there was a warm and hearty drink. They say it was first brewed on a frozen Wintervale night in Ironforge, when a dwarven brewmaster, a Kirin-Tor mage, and one gnome with too much confidence
Interesting.
gathered around a hearth. Into a large pot went one full 750 milliliter bottle of dry red wine, enough to serve 4 to 6 adventurers, depending on how hard the dungeon went.
I need more mana.
Add 2 cinnamon sticks, 4 whole cloves, 2 star anise, and 1 teaspoon of allspice berries, lightly crushed as tradition demands. Peel 1 orange, add the peel to the pot. Then squeeze in half a cup of fresh orange juice for brightness. Stir in 2 to 3 tablespoons of honey or brown sugar, adjusting sweetness to taste. Finish with a 1/4 teaspoon of freshly grated nutmeg, because someone always insists. Heat the mixture gently over low heat. Never boil, because boiling is how you summon problems.
Couldn't resist, could you?
Let it simmer for 15 to 20 minutes, stirring clockwise to keep the foul energy out. They called it Wintervale Mulled Wine, and legend claims it warmed heroes before raids, treaties, and at least one extremely doomed dungeon pug. Now, to be clear, none of that story is accurate, canon, or even remotely Warcraft lore.
Daddy, chill.
What the hell is even that?
But the recipe? Completely tried and true. From our hearts to yours, Merry Christmas and Happy Wintervale from Azeroth Morning Radio, where the legends are questionable and the mulled spiced wine is excellent.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with us here at AMR. We appreciate you all. First, if you enjoyed your time here with us today, this is where we completely rely on you. Give us a review. Tell us how we're doing. Share AMR in your Discord server. Our growth is 100% tied to our listeners spreading the word. That's how this hearth continues to get bigger. And you guys have been doing that already. It shows every week with our releases, and we just can't thank you enough. So please take a couple minutes. Tell us how we're doing. Leave us a review, whatever podcast app of choice you're using. And also, you can visit our website, azerothmorningradio.com. Full episode transcripts, learn more about AMR, and of course, any kind of email that you want to send to us, because we'll read that stuff right here on the air if you want. So hey, there's that. Cash.
Friends, our show is about you. It's about the community. It's about the things that you're doing out there, and any ways that we can help bring you the news and do it in digestible format, so it's more fun than just reading patch notes. So reach out to us, because we really do want to hear from you. We're working on ways to make it easier. We're working on ways to bring some access. But you can start now by emailing us at azerothmorningradio@gmail.com. You can hit us up on Facebook at Azeroth Morning Radio. Our shows are in video format on YouTube at Azeroth Morning Radio, and very soon, as in tonight, you'll be able to catch us at twitch.tv/Azeroth Morning Radio. And this will always prompt the inevitable comment from people, I didn't know you look like that. And we have
really
no idea. We have no idea how to take it. Like, is it bad? Is it bad? Did I break it?
I love your response to that every time. You're like, well, what do you think I was supposed to look like? It's like you get so offended.
We've already told you that we're bald.
Gosh,
if you didn't know that and you have baldophobia, consider yourself trigger warned. There's a lot of freaking shine when we're on camera.
It's true. Use a carb buffer. Shines extra. Anyway, folks, have a great week in gaming. We love you, and we will see you tonight, hopefully, at AMR, The Late Watch. Otherwise, we'll see you next week right here on Azeroth Morning Radio. Take care, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Job's done.